Filling the hard drives, filling the hard drives.
Betwixt the raising of the undying emperor and the great planar war that shook the heavens, there was an age of contradiction, where cannons won kingdoms and muskets kept the peace. A brave few won the hearts of the conquered and conquerors alike. Of these we speak of the decline of the great kingdoms and cultures under the heel of empire. Of those we speak of gladiators and the untold thousands that worshipped them. Of this an age of glory, where kings would be slaves and a gladiator would be king.
Greetings and welcome to Die Dragon Die presents the Dread and Circus Campaign Season 4, Episode 9. I'm your demon host, Marty, joined by Adam and Mark today. Let me unmute their mics and get the chat rolling. I always have to click this one button to go chat on and unmute these lovely faces here. How is everyone doing today?
Awesome.
I'm putting all the food in and trying not to move too much. That's kind of don't hurt nothing. Nobody moves, nobody gets hurt. I just finished eating a kilo of sweet potatoes.
It's really bad when you're moving around your house, just doing your day. You're doing your day around your house and you're trying not to hurt yourself.
That's pretty much don't hurt nothing. Like we were going out for lunch and I got a rock in my sandal. I'm like, no. I gotta get the rock out of my sandal.
Lucas, how's it going, man? Good to see you back. No worries, life happens, man. But happy that you're here. There's lots to catch up on if you haven't watched any of the episodes on Twitch and YouTube.
Hey, Lucas.
So we'll give you a recap right after we finish our, in my opinion, mandatory how'd you do before game starts, because otherwise it comes out during game.
I'll be in the middle of the epic boss monologue. Hey, Marty's just talking to himself.
Marty's talking to himself about how work is stressful, and then Mark is eating going on about how he's got weird ice cream sandwiches, and Adam.
How does Mark not have diabetes?
I think the cancer. I think the joke was the cancer fights the diabetes.
That was back in the day. Yeah.
That was the smoker days.
Yeah.
We actually, when I was in my 20s, a friend of ours, Nick, filmed us playing D&D for a school project, and the first question someone asked him was, "The guy on the left, he eats candy the entire time?" Because I had this big bag of Halloween candy. And then he responded, "No, he gets up to have a cigarette every now and then."
We all have our vices, I presume, and suppose, and no. Okay.
I will neither confirm nor deny.
Yeah, exactly. Funny. You know what I'm talking about. You know. Vices, man. I didn't say horrible, crippling addictions. Socially acceptable vices. It's okay.
Not a political channel, but when you talk to somebody who's really libertarian, and it's like, legalize all the drugs. It's like, well, within reason. It's like, no, legalize everything. Why? So people can get their dosages right. Dosage? What do you mean? Snap. Oh, geez. The other side. Oh, God. Too libertarian. Too much.
Oh, sorry, Demon. We didn't reschedule the conclave, not the conclave, the coalition thing after no one showed up last week. So I haven't been able to reschedule another time. We also have to end tonight's game a little bit early, or may end a little early, depending on the circumstances. As I think Adam's got stuff to do.
I'll tell you what, though, for your effort and your devotion, we will award you a free hero point.
Says Mark.
To use at any time. And remember who suggested that.
Yeah, all the times for the events that I have planned are usually kept on the events page on Twitch. So right now there's not any there, but tomorrow I'll add some times. Okay, so audience hero points. That's probably a good thing to check. For this particular campaign, we're sitting at Foxfire's got 2 hero, Demon Lord Nemi's got a hero or villain, and there are a bunch of question marks for other folks as well. So hero or villain, Demon Lord. This will likely be used for the Shadow adventure, but you could save it and sit on it, I guess, for the next time we switch back to the Circus or the Conclave. So let me know if you want hero or villain.
He really likes Magnus.
Yep. Yeah, he was
Loves
chatting about Magnus today in the Discord. Okay, so Adam, how's training going?
Right now it's eat much, drink much, don't give yourself diarrhea, and don't hurt yourself is all that I have to do till tomorrow, and sleep. I have to make certain I can sleep.
And tomorrow you do the lifting?
Yeah, the lifting's tomorrow. Weigh-in is at 9, and then there's a rules discussion till 10, and then first event's at 11.
Now, do you want to be heavy for weigh-in, or do you want to be light for weigh-in?
Like,
I want to be heavy because I'm in the super tanker unlimited class. So
so you're not like borderline on some class, and you're trying to like under so you can power up.
120 pounds past the cutoff.
so you're just going, well, fuck it, full out.
Well, yeah,
Full out. Well, the weight probably helps him move things around.
Yeah, and yes, it helps support, like your muscle bellies being full of water helps. So to compare, when I was in Wisconsin, this doesn't help people other than Marty. When I was in Wisconsin, I was like 322.
Yep. When
I got back from Wisconsin, I was more than that. I'm hoping to weigh in tomorrow at about 339, 340, something like that. And then a week later, I was 334 2 days ago. Like I'm trying to basically have 6 pounds of water in my system.
Cool. Why don't we do a recap of what happened on Thursday? Episode 408, The Shadow Pot and Tree. Zyra leads her party into the Shadow Plane on her first Shadow Walk.
Let's just think. Well, so she doesn't get to. She doesn't lead nothing no more.
In the north, they find a strange shear in the Shadow Plane near the Imperial Hedge staves. Bravely, they take the plunge into the area warded by the hedge staves and find traces of Yggdrasil's ancient roots. Widget speaks with Dracia Umbravilda in his dreams. The party has a run-in with demonic residents of the Shadow Plane. Murgovane has a harsh epiphany when he communes with the dying world tree. And I believe we left off with Murgovane in horrible pain as everyone's sort of watching him turn his fist into this oaken substance, or at least the tree did. Immediately after you pull back your fist, this section of Yggdrasil kind of dies, like visibly. The little bits of like greenery on the inside of the root and some of the pulp or flesh of the inside of the tree just simply turns to kind of like blackened ash and sort of rains down. It kind of goes down the tunnel as far as your dark vision sees. At this point in time, you can hear the far off cries of more shadow demons and more shadows, as one shadow demon got away during that fight, and you might be like kicking successively bigger like hives of shadows as you get closer to the center. Now, there is no Yggdrasil tree. It just seems like the roots are burrowing up and into the shadow plane. You see no tree, but they're reaching out in all directions.
Mhm.
There's
And
an ingrown hair. There's an ingrown tree.
Gus, how's it going? Good to see you here. Yeah, there's kind of an ingrown tree. Murgovane has just a flash of images. He was given a lot of information in a short period of time. Information that I'm not going to repeat, kind of representing that he got it all in this blast of pain and flood. So whatever Mark remembers, and whatever Murgovane shares,
Pretty certain it happened while I was grabbing a protein shrink.
it was more in images and it kind of
Yeah.
burrowed in pain, and you get the sense of lots of things happening. And I'm just gonna let you role play what it is that you what you find. Like, had I been in person and have been an artist, I would have just given you like flashcards or just a bunch of images, and then
Okay.
taken them away.
So it would be like the black and white photos of like maggots, dead body, happy.
right. What's that thing? Oh my god, that's horrible.
Oh my god.
No, you
Just-
got
Just
the
for fun, you should have told Ahmed what you wanted for flashcards, and he could have done his little.
right. The sense of this tree is truly ancient, but a lot has happened in it's hard to describe. Is it recent history? It's a lot of pain if that's recent history, and it wants the pain to end. Murgovane was, of course, like like going through a whole bunch of pain, and there are some powers that happen. Murgovane immediately realizes what these powers are, as this tree had the power enough to swipe his divine connection with Semoenia away, and instill the divine connection between you and Yggdrasil.
Yeah, that's frightening power. Actually, just nope. You worship me now.
It's an entity. It's not a talky humanoid made in our image deity.
It reminds me of that fungus that turns ants into zombies. I don't know if you've ever seen the.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it very much like I'm gonna be at the top of a tree spreading spores very soon. Off the top of my head.
Well, Murgovane's fist, and I'll these are the things that. So Murgovane's fist, left hand is now wooden. It's made from the gnarled oak-like Yggdrasil itself. With your left fist, you may make unarmed attacks without provoking AOs, with a bonus to damage equal to half your oracle level.
Oh.
It says hole right there. We won't put a half in there.
What's that? Oh, half. Yeah, equal to half. Murgovane's oracle level. Okay. Murgovane's left hand is considered a divine connection to his god Yggdrasil. Can be used as divine focus, even if the hand is occupied. Drawbacks: while not a plant creature, Murgovane may be susceptible to spells that affect plants. And there's a locked power. If you spend a feat, you gain the plant domain, and you can add the plant domain spells to your spells known. Plant domain includes things like Barkskin at 2nd level. And you also gain the 6th level domain power from plant domain with that feat.
Okay.
So if you spend a feat, you can make the connection deeper and better.
Okay.
So all this happened while you were yelling, and everyone's standing around looking at you, and you pull your hand out of the tree as everything's dying.
That looked painful.
Ah, my hand. My hand.
Would you like me to look at it?
He shows her the wooden hand.
Okay, it seems to be moving like it is his hand.
Widget's gonna roll a knowledge nature
Sure.
and potentially a craft weaponsmith? Maybe? I don't know. Alright.
Okay, the knowledge nature.
Yeah, give me a second. Oh, that. Yeah. 22.
You are watching the whatever the plant Yggdrasil wood substance is. It's simply eating Murgovane's hand and replacing it with something different. It luckily seems to stop spreading at about the elbow.
Does it?
It reminds you of some sort of invading organism with a knowledge nature.
You might want to. It's not healthy. You've got a. Basically, you've got a fungus, a really aggressive fungus. I wonder what happens if you hit it with a plant growth.
It's not funny.
There's all sorts of experimentation that Widget's thinking about now. Murgovane's pretty impressive, even if he wasn't able to use his hand, although he's able to articulate it just fine. Like he's kind of like looking at it and sort of making his hand move and
Did more than just take my hand.
Oh, by the way, the commune spell with the speak to plant spell ended when
Yeah, I figured that. It did more than just take my hand. Severed my connection to Semenya. What? Is that something gods can usually do?
Nope.
Okay.
No, knowledge religion. You didn't think so. Like
28? I don't know. Yeah, 28. I already used my 20s, I think.
Organized religions tend to have like all sorts of like initiations to open up connections to the god. Even evil ones, you'd normally have to sacrifice something. This is
Just
this is not right or not normal. Not saying that you can't have abnormal, but it is definitely not normal.
Okay. This is quite unusual if what you say is true. No. I still have access to my divine powers, but I must... He looks at his hand. The tree. Yggdrasil will provide them now.
You got enslaved by a tree?
So to speak. But it did show me the shadows. This is where they're coming from. The source of the shadows is within Yggdrasil. They have hollowed out one of the branches and have created a forge for something.
You mentioned... Did you mention the Ober Shadow?
No, I didn't
Okay.
mention. One of the night... What, were they Night Dukes?
Dusk Lords.
Dusk Lords. One of the Dusk Lords. The Shadow one. He is here. He is the source of the shadows. He can be found in Yggdrasil. The tree suffers.
Knowledge planes?
What's the question?
Help?
Well, the most immediate thing, Cade kind of goes, I think they're coming in for a second attack. By this point in time, you guys did march for some time, and a half an hour had gone by. So I don't know if your death wards are... Yep.
Yeah, our death wards are gone.
We might want to put up death wards again, says Cade, oblivious to the fact that, they're not on tap.
The Fae will go outside the tree to actually take a look to give a sense of time.
Oh, yeah, there's... So not only are there like local shadows beginning to kind of form into swarms and flying around the general area where you are, Maffei actually sees the death of Yggdrasil kind of like crumbling up ahead still, and it might
Oh,
cave.
it's like agitating everything.
Yeah, it might have caved in maybe about a mile away. She can see perfectly in darkness, right? Or is she a dark visioner? It's a big enough thing that she like something happened. It eventually stopped. Like you didn't kill all of Yggdrasil. It's just a mile long section of it kind of died. There's definitely a collapse in the tunnel ahead. And not only do you see that, like local shadows all kind of swarming up, and maybe some shadow fiends or whatever those things were, but the massive halo of shadows, the thousands of them that are kind of flocking above where all the roots go in to the ground near that island, they're starting to like lose their formation of a donut or a ring, and they're now kind of like arcing in your general direction. There's probably, I don't know, 1 to 10,000 shadows in that big ring. It'll take some time for them to get here, but you do see that whatever you've done,
We might want to.
it's coming.
Yes, run from the Dementors. Yes.
Yeah. No, I don't want any wraiths here. No wraiths. No wraiths.
No. Sorry, I'm sorry I made that comment.
Okay, Maffei comes down. We've agitated everything. Thousands come this way, even more immediate. Another swarm.
Retreat and regroup.
Yes. We are not prepared to face a Lord of Shadow. So, magic?
Yeah, that would be good.
So
Magic it is.
Maffei hops back into the amulet, kind of absorbs back into the amulet. It's really handy having your own incorporeal creature. Cade just sort of in his weird stances moves back into formation with the
How
with
many
the group.
people can you teleport, Rita?
No, I have to look up the spell because it's been a while since I've done that.
I think the answer is 4.
Probably, actually.
Why would we bring Widget along?
You're a
It's
wizard.
bag of holding.
If you're a wizard who can't teleport, you're just dead weight.
I told you I'm an NPC. I'm a MacGuffin.
He can dimension door.
Yeah, 3 per 3 caster levels. Yeah. So I can bring 5 people total. There are 6 of us.
Yep.
Does Widget have teleport?
Widget doesn't have 5th circle spells. I don't have 5ths.
What are you even doing?
I don't know.
How far down this tunnel did we go?
Like where are you on the map, kind of thing?
Yeah.
Let's go back to the world map.
Since we're about to split the party, we're
So,
gonna turn really
so you
invisible and
guys
have him
are in the hex where the island is, where Yggdrasil's roots bury up onto the mountain. You had it looked like you had just started to enter the roots near the shore.
Okay.
So you're kind of on the southern shore of this particular area. How long? You guys traveled inside the route once you entered it for a half an hour, because you were searching for maybe about an hour. You were searching for a living part of it.
Yeah.
It's been a half an hour since your fight inside the roots.
So,
The places that you have crossed is, well, you blazed a trail from where you entered into the pot-like trap or the shear. There was the place where you guys spent the evening in the shear. but that's hours back.
Yep. I will meet you by the entrance to the entrance to Ear.
So 2 hours back.
Effectively, Rene will run. He's also relatively immune to the shadows. So if they do catch up to him,
Why don't I just throw the little one in my bag of holding and pull him out when we teleport?
does it work that way?
Why not? He's just-
How big is the bag of holding?
It's type.
Type 4, I think.
Type 4, yeah.
Oh yeah, this is the one that Hector,
Yeah, Hector used to have this one.
the paladin centaur,
You mean the treasure pony?
had a 60-pound bag on the outside, which carries 1,500 pounds on the inside and 250 cubic feet.
If you don't let me out of the bag, I will cut my way out.
I will let you out as soon as we've moved. Are we ready? He's got the bag open.
Okay, you got the bag open. It's enough. It's big enough that you get on all fours and kind of crawl in.
Widget will roll a spellcraft.
You're gonna want to hold your breath. You're just told, hold your breath.
Widget's gonna roll a spellcraft.
Okay.
And Zyra's gonna roll a spellcraft.
Yeah. Okay. So you're gonna take a quick look at the bag.
A quick thought. 22.
Zeta do her.
Do I know that I would need to take off my bag of holding before hopping in there?
Zeta would know that. She's got a fucking.
You know,
Yeah.
we're gonna create a friggin'. We're gonna do the dumb thing.
This could be the solution to all of our problems.
Maybe we'll be blown into another. We'll be blown out of the hole. That actually might be interesting. Let's rip a hole through the plains.
So Zeta just goes, let's see what happens. No. Alright, Zeta roll a spellcraft too.
So you go on Gonzo random adventure. Fuck this place. Fuck the Shadow War.
29.
Yeah, you know that it would be probably bad to put bags of holding inside of bags of holding. You know it's particularly bad to put portable holes interacting with bag of holding.
No.
Also the 29. Who got the 35?
That's 0.
Yeah, actually, he can breathe in there for a short period of time.
Okay, you'll have to remove your bag of holding.
Or
If you have
and
one.
any other extra dimensional space that he's carrying.
What bag of holding?
The one I can see with my eyes and magic.
Okay, the shouts of the
So
shadow, the shouts of the shadow fleet, the shouts of the shadow fiends, and the shadows coming closer. They're getting closer. Keep. It's Cascade.
Gives it to 0.
Okay.
Then, because that's got all the shadow artifacts in it. And then he.
What's the hold up? Get in there. Cade's now grabbing Widget. Just pushing him into the bag. Hold your breath is what he says. And just sticking you in. Low charisma, man.
He's worried about. Okay, so now he's in. I'm assuming the bag of holding is a dark.
It is a dark place. You're kind of like at first you felt the roughness of the bag and kind of a popping of your ears, and it's a lightless place, and you're kind of floating in it. Like there doesn't seem to be any boundaries, or at least boundaries that you can get to. There's no gravity in here.
All right.
You can't see the edges. You actually see the opening closing like rapidly, and it's not all like symmetrical as it closes because it's like a rippled bag. So it gets cinched shut as you're sort of
Widget.
floating around in it.
We're not asking 4th level spells. Get in there.
Oh,
Okay,
funny.
So in the dark, scary place where he's all by himself.
Yep.
even though he maybe should have learned from yesterday about making curses out of, yeah.
Okay,
He
so
doesn't. He doesn't like being manhandled.
Does he say anything out loud? Does he utter a curse?
He curses the hands that touched him. So, Cade's curse his hands.
I don't see what did he die? No, he
No,
just
no,
went
we
into the bag of holding. That's why I have him under Murdervane.
Hey, oh man, what are you doing, buddy? what you doing?
Okay,
Wait,
there's
so-
now 5 of you. You can actually hear them. They're coming. The shadows. They're
teleport.
coming. They're coming.
teleport back.
Okay. All right. Give me a percentile as you're trying to teleport back to the clearing. Is that it?
Because screwing this up.
The
and
clearing or
stuff,
the
I'm
place where you
thinking-
entered 2 hours ago?
The place where we entered 2 hours ago, I think.
Okay. So it's kind of like a crack that you found in the route where you
Oh,
wandered out of.
You're going somewhere fun,
Okay.
No, we're going somewhere else.
which will be fun. It'll be a different route of the tree.
This was my plan all along. just discover new parts of the tree.
No, 97 is mishap.
Oh, awesome.
Okay,
This
re-roll.
could go for a long time. Ow, 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 ow.
41.
I believe it's 1d20 plus 80.
Oh yeah, it's 1d20 plus 80 for this one.
Yep.
82.
I think that's similar area.
Off target. You appear safely in a random distance away from the destination in a random direction. You are off target by D percentile dice. Wow. Okay.
So D100?
Yeah.
Or do you want to roll that behind the
I'll
screen?
roll this behind the screen.
Okay.
And then you each take, upon arriving, 1 damage. As the teleport was a bit jarring. Widget does not take the damage. He was safe inside the extra-dimensional space.
Can you see the other stuff in here?
No, it's dark in here. Like maybe.
Is that dark vision? But
Oh yeah, you could kind of see out there. There might be like things floating out there, but you haven't run into anything yet. It's pretty big in here. What else does Murgovane have in the bag of holding?
Yeah.
He probably put all his money in there. Hang on.
Because next time I turn this back inside out, there's gonna be gnome shit coming out. You'll be going, where did this come from?
There's broken bits of a shield floating around.
Yeah, there's a couple scrolls.
Shield has like a big lion head on it. It's weird looking. You've never seen Murgovane wield that.
Basic adventuring gear.
Widget is a craftsman. Here, let's see if you can identify this.
I pull you out. You fixed the shield already. Hey.
Just a craft weaponsmith on the shield.
Yeah, he's got some he doesn't have all the. It's because he was created later. He doesn't have all the low-level junk that you
He doesn't
accrue.
He doesn't have the normal buildup of stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah.
A 14. I had some lion head shield. Okay.
Okay, so you teleport to a safe and similar area, and you guys are inside the roots of Yggdrasil.
Renee yanks his foot out from like an inch of bark that is wedged in.
Yep.
Is this what we want?
No, not quite what I was aiming for. No.
Do you recognize
anything?
No, but there's a lot of water dripping through this area, and you're up to about your knees in cold slimy seawater.
Seawater?
Yeah, it's salty. Like some of it's dripping on you already, and you could taste the salt.
We must be under the lake. Oh, nearby. Yes, we must be under the lake.
Apparently, this field this field affects many magics. This lock.
Yeah.
Makes no teleport works.
We'll try again, I guess.
Okay, you're trying to return to the.
Actually, is the tree alive here or is it dead?
It's dead and waterlogged.
Dead and waterlogged. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Zeta has a.
We'll let Maffei out and have Maffei take a peek out in the. See
Okay.
what we're...
Yeah, she takes a peek out, and then she comes back and says that the route kind of dives up and above the water line, and we're in a little section that goes below the water line. And you can see, like, up ahead, it's not as flat as it was when it was on the ground. It's actually kind of going up a little bit on both.
Do you know which way we
front
are
and back.
compared to the hole in the ground?
Yeah, she says she can see which direction is the hole in the island. She says we're a little closer to the island than we were.
That means we went the wrong way.
Yeah, just opposite direction almost.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Is this the whole?
She says from the direction that everything's flying, she thinks that you're on the right side of the island.
Okay.
Kind of the
I think
right
we're on the
northern
right-
side. Like they're going away from you, basically.
Cool.
Oh, this.
They're heading south because you guys were approaching
Yeah.
south, and you guys appeared kind of like east.
Perhaps this is good enough. As long as we're not caught by those things.
Well, maybe we could go where it's dry. And Cade starts. Yeah, because up to your knees is medium creature. Yeah, Door's a little shoulder. It's kind of up
Yeah.
to his balls.
Mergovane will pull Widget.
Okay, you stick it. There's this giant claw hand going in, and Widget.
He just leaves his hand in there for Widget to grab, but he thinks of Widget to bring him to the bed.
Yeah, and then when you think of Widget, it's like Widget, you're summoned to the front of the bag, and you're pulled out of the bag. You were like, I could almost reach the shield, and like, this force kind of pulled you out of the bag, and
This is the worst. I mean, it's better than being dead. But
Mergovane sits you down, kind of puts you down on the ground, and you feel like all the bark kind of go and it's squishy and slippery as you guys are climbing up out of the pool that you landed in.
Thank you for bringing me into the mud puddle. Why are we in a mud puddle?
We didn't land where we're supposed to, says Cade. And he gives Zyra a look, or Zeta a look.
Teleportation within the shadow plane can be complicated. She lies.
It might be this area.
So what do we do now? Are we gonna go and fight this Shadow Lord thing? Go rescue a tree? No, I never thought I'd say that.
It would end the threat to the shadows, Warm. Probably. It is our goal, isn't it? Mergovane's looking for any dissension.
It is a risk. As long as we have a method of
Escape.
escape.
We need a plan. To just head forward and fight is unlikely to result in success.
Sorry, just writing something down.
And if the shadows are responsible for the theft of the crucible,
They wouldn't have come this way.
What do they want? What's their goal? We find out what their goal is and we stop them from achieving their goal.
well, their goal is most likely to please Drusilla Umbravilda.
Who's that?
Really? You don't know? She's like,
A natural one? Maybe it was a joke.
oh wow, okay.
Widget's not being coy. Widget's being coy. He knows exactly who Drusilla Umbravilda is. There might have been a whinge of guilt. Give me a sense motive. See if you crack that 3.
3?
3.
Wow. Yeah, 26 if I roll a
There's
1.
a whinge of guilt that he's trying to hide.
What do you know?
He knows what the inside of an extra-dimensional space looks like, says Cade. Renee simply just kind of standing along the water log with an arrow out and just keeping his ghoulish ready to action.
There is there's a powerful shadow that way.
You're pointing farther.
Yeah, deeper, like towards the hole.
And you know this how?
I dreamt about it.
Do you often have visions of the future in your dreams?
It was more a vision of the past, really.
How far in the past?
Far enough. Not your kind of far in the past.
I don't get it.
We're not supposed to be here. This is not the right place.
Is Widget saying this?
No, this is Zyra.
Mm.
You know you brought us here. I'm aware.
Let's ensure we have a way home before we start making plans for an assault.
What if this is a true threat?
Whether it's a true threat or not, I intend to survive this. That involves getting home.
Didn't the story about the big tree be saying that through the tree you go to many places?
Yes, it acts like a song gate to many places. Question is, does it work through the shadow plane, though? Knowledge Plane's 39, she asks herself out loud.
Yeah, it crawls into all sorts of planes, including worse places than this. The roots of Yggdrasil will dig deep into concordant opposition and even into the lower planes themselves.
Can we, through the shadow plane, get to another prime material plane?
No.
Okay, that's my question. Yeah.
You can through the shadow plane go to another plane, and then from that plane go to the shadow plane, and then go to another material plane. But that's like you need to kind of know where you're going to do that.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
was my question.
Okay.
Hit the shadow plane, follow Yggdrasil.
All we need
Once
to
you get
do.
to the shadow plane of the material plane you want to go to, switch to the material plane.
All we need to know is if there is a membrane in Yggdrasil. If there's no membrane, then we can go through and then simply shadow walk.
Membrane? Knowledge.
The pudding fence.
Ah, yes.
Pot.
My guess is there should be. These stem staffs were put in place mostly to block Yggdrasil. The Imperium hates it. It's uncontrolled access to other planes. Other worlds.
Do those staff stop all travel or simply shadow travel?
Well, should bring teleportation in. We weren't brought towards the staff when we teleported, though, so...
Seems like you were able to teleport in the pot. You're still in the depression.
Within the area...
You saw the Shadow Fiends do it, and you
Yeah.
just did it yourself.
Just did it, yeah.
Perhaps they only stop shifting of planes.
We are not under threat right now. Let's see if there's a pudding or membrane, as you put it, blocking our way. Shall we?
Okay, which direction are you traveling?
Away from the shadow swarm of death.
Okay, so away from the center, you're gonna follow the route east, or in the general easterly direction this particular route's going.
So east is away.
Yeah.
So let's go check out a hedge staff. I think that's the.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go to the world map. How are you guys traveling?
Very, very inefficiently.
Yes. We're walking very slowly.
Well, wait a sec.
Sounds like this.
Didn't you have overland flight going?
Yes, we did. Actually.
Yeah,
Yes.
we do. We have overland flight. Additionally, if it's far enough away, I think I don't know. Does Shadow Walk work in here in terms of like over speed flight or no?
Have you tried it yet?
We tried it, but we tried it to pass through the membrane. It didn't take us up.
Right. So you're able to the bottom of the pot has its own shallow shadow.
It's like a mini plane.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or it's like striations in the earth with two bands, shallow and deep, and the inside of the pot just kind of went like this, and you just can't connect.
Okay. Yeah.
So you could either I don't remember the next morning. Did you guys put up all of your overland flights or not?
On this day, we had all the overland.
Okay,
flights, yeah.
got it. So those are subtracted from somebody's daily allotment.
That's from.
So Zyra is going to cast Shadow Walk.
Yes.
Okay, you guys blend into the from the deep shadow plane into the shallows, and quickly link hands, and you can see things flitting around. There seems to be a lot of activity going back and forth into the center. A lot of the activity is coming from the north. Like you see, when you had kind of risen up out of the tree to do your shadow walking, kind of like blazing to the east, you could kind of see like a couple of things flitting here and there going into the center. Like there are other shadow walkers.
Okay, we either didn't teleport or someone doesn't have overland flight.
Widget doesn't have overland flight. He could just ride on Murgavan's shoulder. Or get in the bag.
No more teleporting.
Okay, so Zyra, which way you're the one leading this?
Is there a cliff we could jump off of? Let's go. We want to go east. We want to go to this.
Okay.
Or wait a sec. We were told that the crypt of Duke Haramil, that one had the tampered staff. So we want
Yes,
to go to the crypt of Duke Haramil because that has the tampered staff that we know something about. Like,
that might actually give us a chance to get note.
yeah, they were fiddling with that one.
Okay. This is about halfway through your day. You begin heading towards the crypt of Duke Haramil. It's about 60, 70. It's about 90 miles away from where you were. Yeah, a couple of hours of flying, zipping around with somebody who's leading. Does anyone know the landmarks, knowledge, geography? Like who's your navigator?
Zeta's got knowledge geography.
What's her bonus?
Plus 29, I think.
Okay, so if you take 1, you get 30. Okay, so you're able to help your great aunt navigate through the shadow plane using the really big features, and eventually you do get to the wall, to the big strange shear, and you notice that the shear is like it's straight. You follow it a little way, and then it starts to kind of like bubble in and up. Like there's something wrong with the wall at this particular point.
Well, let's walk up the wall.
You're gonna shadow walk up the wall?
Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Okay.
We're gonna like a roller coaster, like.
You can actually see this massive, like, elongated looking. Well, you've seen the hedge staffs before. It looks like a really long stretched hedge staff that goes up for like a mile, kind of pinching the edge of the wall.
Well, Can we touch it?
Yeah, you're gonna go up to the hedge
Yeah.
staff. It kind of thrums a little bit when you guys are in Shadow Walk, and your movements aren't very precise. So you kind of move right up to it, and you realize that you're right at it. And if you want to touch it,
Fuck my nose.
if you want to touch it, you might actually go through it. Like that's how not precise this movement is.
Well, let's see what happens if we try to just go.
Okay, give me a caster level check, please. This is Zyra.
Okay. Let me just. All right. It's not +1. It's +13, but it's a 16.
16. Okay. You seem to just sort of bounce up against it, and you kind of hit something and sort of spiraled you out away from it. Give me a perception check for everyone as you were kind of approaching the hedge staff.
Okay.
This also could be a knowledge planes instead of perception if you'd like.
I'll do knowledge planes and get a 39.
15, 16, 17, 17, 22. 33 to perceive. 36 to perceive.
Yeah. So all of you saw it. You saw the part where the hedge staff may have failed, or maybe failing, and the wall seems to be almost transparent. But Zyra's spell isn't strong enough to push you guys through.
What about if knowledge has knowledge arcana? Would it make a difference if a shadowcaster tried to do it?
Zyra is a shadowcaster.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, even if I added a few bonus on there, the roll was pretty.
I rolled a 3.
Yeah.
Uh,
With a different casting of Shadow Walk,
I got 2 more, so
you could attempt to get through. Okay, so you guys drop down into the deep shadow, the true shadow plane, where you
Yep.
walk around like it's corporeal, and you're all looking at each other. Well, we almost saw the way through, didn't we? It's Cade.
Yes, we did, but
Where did we
this-
just smash through? Punches his fist, and a little bit of poison
ev-
drips from it.
every smash requires a casting. That smash was not strong enough.
All right, anything I can do to help?
Do you know how to cast shadow magic?
Nope.
Keep me from being punched.
Okay, good talk.
That's him. Yeah, that's him.
That's it. I have captured the essence of Cade.
You know, you'd cast stronger if you had stronger pectorals. You should do some push-ups.
Wait, that's who's that? It's none of your characters here.
That's
Oh,
a kid.
just a Cade thing, yeah. A Cadeism. Okay,
Alright.
so you're gonna turn into a shadow.
Now, give me a second. The cooperative casting feats. Cooperative casting. Because I think that Widget, who has the ability to use those things, should probably take one. Anyways, doesn't matter. We'll try again.
Okay, I'm just gonna put the DC on the map. It is DC caster level check 25 to break through this barrier.
27.
Okay,
There we
on
go.
the second casting, you find yourselves going through, and you pause for a moment, and you're already kind of outside. You're like on the other side of the barrier.
Huh.
This time, however, you do realize that while you're outside of the wall itself, you're still in the trap. Coming from this direction, like there was a wall, and you kind of pierce through the wall, but you can see that the landscape in the shallow ethereal is ever so like elevated, and the elevation goes out for some time. It's subtle enough that you, on your first shadow walk, didn't notice it, but as you were pouring yourself through, you think that if you go into the material,
We're too close. If we try to shift out of,
It'll pull us back.
yeah.
well, let's
Let's keep moving.
let's
till
go
it's-
perpendicular.
Okay, like kind of flying out of it, and at some
Yeah.
point, and at this point, I'm going to draw some circles for you on the world map,
Mm-hmm.
as you're beginning to understand this trap a little bit more. With your insane DCs and coming at it from both ways, you guys might know things that even
Imperium does.
well, the Imperium may have forgotten about, or
Well, it might be one of those things where, yeah, they make the weapons, but they don't really, test what happens inside the thing. Well, isn't that lovely? Zita, you are always good with history.
this is the trap part of it. That's the wall.
It's the Eye of Sauron.
Okay.
There's where the tree was going into the roots of the tree were going in, and you guys basically travel for some time until you're like, I think we're out of the.
Yeah, it's an extra hour.
Yeah.
Was tree worship ever a thing on Tebron
39 knowledge
or on
history.
Tarak?
On Tarak, yeah,
Nature.
it is the one thing that the elven nations of Tarak had in common. that they held in esteem something called the Tree of Life.
Yes, the Tree of Life was a not uncommon religion among elves everywhere. Are you suggesting perhaps Yggdrasil is this Tree of Life? Perhaps. I'm sure it goes by many names.
Yes. So weird. We should head north.
Yes, make use of this spell. While we still have it.
So you're still in the shadow plane.
Yep.
You snuck out of the trap, and then you're gonna start heading.
So that was an extra hour. So there's 10 hours left. And we're gonna.
There's 10 hours left, but you've already been adventuring for like 4 today. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So we're gonna go. We're taking the long way. We're gonna rest at the middle of the God knows nothing plain.
There's nothing of interest here.
okay, are you descending into the deep shadow to rest, or are you going into the prime material to rest?
We're gonna get us some sunlight.
Yep.
You know, just
Yep.
a little bit, just a touch of it.
Because nothing good has ever come from camping in the shadow plane.
Okay. You guys come out in sort of like relatively hilly and mountainous terrain. The mountains are the kind of the yellowish areas on the map. And then you also appear from where you left, like 1,000 miles north, and you're kind of like in northern Canadian wilderness. Like the trees are starting to grow shorter because you're that far north. A lot of wilderness and late autumn, probably the last few swarms of black flies.
Murgovain shivers and casts endure elements on himself. It's cold. Jeez.
Yeah, it's not quite like frigid temperatures, but it will get cool at night. You'll probably
He's
want a
also-
campfire.
He's also a snake. So
Renee's gonna hunt a moose or a thing that has meat on it. That's
Yep,
not-
I'm gonna roll to see if there's an encounter for this random area that you find yourselves in.
Moose.
Nothing. There's a lot of wilderness, and you don't seem to enter into a populated area or an area specifically where there are animals.
Murgovain casts another grove of respite.
Okay, Murgovain conjures a grove. Are you shadow conjuring a dome as well, or are you sleeping under the stars?
That's an awesome spell, by the way.
We're gonna shadow conjure a dome.
Okay, you shadow conjure a dome, and then Renee is going to hunt that evening. Give me a survival check.
Oh, come on, Renee. Don't eat your companions. You can do it. You put more ranks in survival. Usually the meat comes to you. 17.
Yeah, you
I
managed
think it's
to.
like live off the land for.
Yeah, I think you find like a couple of muskrats, enough to feed yourself. Everyone else seems to have to eat in their rations, and you manage
Well,
to.
the berries.
We got good berries.
Oh, that's
from
right, the
groves.
good berries. But you have enough rations for now. You've staved off hunger.
I've reset my hunger ticker.
Yep. That evening, you guys spend
Murder clock.
you spend a nice time in your grove. Nothing comes to interrupt you while you're in this mountainous, remote region in the north, because you kind of shunted into a random spot. Like, just think about, I'm going to go into America. America's very highly populated, but if you picked a random spot in America, you're just going to be in
somewhere in Montana.
Yeah, exactly. It's just
Anywhere in Montana.
it's just you're like, oh, we're in the wilderness. Okay.
You're just gonna die out there. Enjoy.
Okay, so you spend an evening in the Galstock Hills, far to the
Renee
north.
casts a spell to cure his hit point damage before sleeping.
Yep,
Or I guess he's intelligent undead. He gets hit points back.
he does get hit points back.
All right.
Is there any particular conversations around camp?
Given, yes, given what we know now, what is our course of action?
We should be gathering information.
So
You know how to reach the enemy.
So we know where to hit him worst.
That being said, caution.
So the Obershadow, you know what that is?
He is a Dusk Lord. She looks to Zyra, right? Yes.
Obershadow is not in the list of Dusk Lords.
No,
Oh, no?
I have the full list. No, he's not.
That's a mistake.
Well, yeah, Murgovane's like, I've been stuck in stasis for 300 years. Who the fuck am I supposed to know? He definitely, like, you got the sense and look that he is a Dusk Lord, but you don't know why they're saying he's not.
Religion. What is an Obershadow?
Sure.
I will roll this one. Just for that sense of, oh, he could fail. Plus, I'd like a higher roll than 39. 43.
You don't know. The Obershadow was not a thing. Who's asking?
Oh,
Zeta.
no, that's Zeta. That was actually knowledge history.
Okay, knowledge history. There was no Obershadow as a force during the first Shadow War.
Okay, so knowledge...
Whatever this is, it's new.
Knowledge, religion, Obershadow. Is it a thing or is that a title?
Sure.
Ah, shit, 22.
It's... From what you can gather, no one has been called that as part of your enemy. Whomever or whatever this is, it's new. Now, what I'm saying is new. It wasn't a thing in the first Shadow War.
Yeah.
It's a new variable.
But Murgovane was sure it was the source. It seemed to be the source of the shadows.
That was one of the things that that Murgovane saw.
Okay.
Was a shadowy elf at the center of a maelstrom of fire in the middle of Yggdrasil.
I'll be right back.
So, what do we do about that? I mean,
Or we go up to it and punch it until it stops whatever it's doing.
direct approach sounds reasonable.
I don't know. You guys are the thinkers. Just point me in the right direction.
Are we well equipped for that? I mean, there are many shadows congregating there.
Well, with your death wards, who cares?
They run out.
Get more. Or we hit and run and hit and run and hit and run until there's nothing left. You gotta work on your teleports, though. It was the Shadow Plane, says Zeta.
We need information. We will head north. We will find those who look into these sorts of things. They might know of this Overshadow. Death wards won't stop you from burning.
Magic will. And willpower. will keep you from minding that you're burning. Ha 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 ha!
Sounds like you've never burned before.
Yes, I have.
Hmm.
Don't ask.
We need to go north.
The
There
next
are many things in play, and if we end up dying there with no one chasing the Ark, it will not end well.
What arc?
The cradle.
Oh, okay. Next morning, nothing in the wilderness comes to try to eat you. You guys are lucky. And you prepare your spells. What are you doing?
Gonna cast Shadow Walk,
Okay.
and we're gonna go straight north until we hit water. Then we're gonna go west.
Okay, so it is 60, like 90 miles to water.
Okay.
Then you
So
go
2 hours
straight,
north.
and then you go straight west.
West.
1, 2, 3, 4. You hit the spooky ruins of a city.
Does it look familiar?
This is Shadow Tebron, which is not Lyrudrada, but you can walk from Shadow Tebron to Lyrudrada. Lyrudrada is actually in the Shadow Plane, but also under the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Tebron used to have a city here. There used to be all sorts of shadow folk and that sort of thing. It was effectively destroyed by an incredible amount of magic during the Shadow War. The Imperials found Shadow Tebron and basically wiped it off the map.
It also was outside the circle. Okay, is there a Tebron?
Yeah, Tebron is a place where there are people that live there that are part of the Protectorate of Tebronia.
Are they nice?
They are.
10 years ago, were they nice?
They're a colder and more suspicious people. Like, behind closed doors, if you're one of them, perhaps you're nice. There are, probably due to the close location of a shadow folk or a fetchling city, there are occasionally fetchlings and shadow folk that do make their way to Tebron. It's a walled city with pointed roofs, streets. You've been to Tebron before. Usually heavy walls, heavy doors. It's built for a slightly bigger people, as some of the people there have links to giant kind. And while its streets are cobbled, it is not very inviting.
Well, let's see what they do with the Cade. We're gonna make certain that
Okay, so you've shadow walked, and you kind of get that the ruins are approaching. What, are you just gonna kind of exit so that you're in actual Tebron, or are you exiting into the deeper Shadow Plane, so you're in the ruins of Shadow Tebron, and then you're gonna walk to Lyrudrada?
We're gonna go through the material.
Okay, so you exit the Shadow Walk, and you're gonna hit Tebron. Give me a D3. 1, you overshot it. 3, you overshot it. 2, you landed in the middle of the city. 1, you kind of undershot it.
Undershoot. No, we're just like, hey guys.
Okay, so you guys just you are in some cobbled streets of the city. What time of day is it? How long did it take you to get here?
6 hours, it looks like.
Okay, 6 hours. You got up at like 8, so it's like 4 in the afternoon. Yeah, you guys just appear in a street, and there's like a cart with some guy with 2 mules that almost runs over you. Hey, watch it! And he's carting I don't know, medieval cities carting excrement out of the city or something like that.
Yay.
The streets are cobbled. There was just a recent rain. You can hear that most people look like they're indoors during the cold rain. There are a couple of shadowy folk flitting here and there. Not shadow people, but just people with their hoods up and sort of like a medieval northern European town.
Let's find a
That's
place.
a small city, large town, kind of on the edge.
Is there an inn or something that?
It has now been 10 years since you've been here. So because you were trapped for I think 10 years in stony form. Do you have knowledge local Tebron or Tebronia?
I have knowledge local. I've got a few of them. I have knowledge local Tebron.
Yeah. Okay. So you know the city well. Give me a knowledge local.
You say that. 102. That's probably a mistake. It would be a 12. Different than 102.
Okay, so you do know that the inns. You do know where travelers will arrive. There are two spots. They either arrive by roads from the south, or via the wharfs all along the north. The more inviting to the travelers might be the roads.
All right. Let's head towards that district.
Okay, so you start heading through the city, and you do find that there's no signs of any war or anything up here. There's activity.
Aren't they supposed to be being murdered by shadows right now?
Most of the people that live in Tebron are human, and you do see that the Imperium flag plus the Protectorate flag of the banners of the Protectorate of Tebronia are flying. You see that they've got a castle at the center of the city, kind of moot with current technology, but at least Imperial technology, but not so moot with the locals, I guess.
It makes them feel better. Like security.
And
the
you
airport.
are able to find the inn. The inn's changed its name, but it's still the same structure that you stayed at before. You liked this place because it had a really, it had a single room that was the attic, that you could rent out the entire attic, and basically you had a lot of space up there.
Just gonna walk in like the management
okay.
hasn't changed.
Yeah, there's sort of a warm, ruddy, heavy, well-worn wooden furniture. This massive rack of antlers. It's almost like somebody had stuck 3 elk antlers into one. That is over top of this roaring fireplace. A little bit of it's kind of dimly lit though. A few torches on the walls. People all stop their drinking to look at the group of you that walk in. They all take they all take a long look, and then eventually they just kind of they're not doing anything, so everyone returns to their drinks and.
Is the upstairs still available?
The guy looks at you. In the attic?
Yes.
You don't mind sharing the room with a leaky roof and some old furniture?
Perfect.
Okay. He says, he looks at the group of you. How many nights?
3.
Be 6 gold crowns, is what he says.
Pay the man.
In the mornings, I'll send someone up to bring some hot water.
And a bucket of cold. Hot water makes you weak.
Fine, he says. He gives a couple of elves, a dwarf, a Mergovane, and a gnome. Apparently, they've seen strange folk because they don't particularly stop you.
They don't get the pitchforks right away? Good to know.
Nope. They he pours 5 ales or 6 ales. He doesn't really ask you what he wants. He just pours 6 ales.
Ale is what we have.
Yep. And you're able to stay there that evening.
Okay. Study, Zeta.
Zeta studies the attic.
Musk the corner with whatever your wizard scent is.
Okay, so Zeta's
I don't
spaces
know
out
how
the attic.
oracles do it. That's
Murgovane
not how-
move some of the old furniture kind of into a corner. You do find that what he didn't mention is that there are some rats up here.
Yay.
Renee makes note of that and gets rid of a few of the rats.
Yep. There's one there, one there, one there, one there.
Slight dip in the rat population at the
Let's see.
at the stag antler.
Now that we found our way,
No, it has a weird name that just doesn't quite make sense. It's the stag and antler.
Okay.
it's for horny dudes.
Or it's a joke or something like that, but just stupid name. Okay, so you're staying at the Stag and Antler. You guys are kind of left alone in the attic. People seem to piss away their time in this tavern. I don't know if you're spending any time down in the tavern or
Renee has no need.
asking questions. Well, Renee's up in the attic eating mice and rodents.
Zeta's going to try to collect information about events of the North.
Okay, so are you asking or are you just observing?
She is asking, engaging people in conversation, and being more delightful than she actually feels talking to humans.
What information are you trying to gather?
Like there's supposed to be a shadow swarm up here.
Where the hell's the Shadow War? Kiska the Shadow War.
Yeah, why are you all apparently not worried about anything? 43.
Oh yeah, it's dangerous out there. just look at diplomacy. Gather info. 43. Okay, one guy. It's dangerous out there if you're planning on traveling.
What should we be concerned with?
Well, the shadows. Exactly what you were asking.
But they don't bother you or your community.
Oh no, we live in Tebron.
How is Tebron protected?
Well, we have, he looks at you. You're not from here, are you?
No, I'm afraid not.
Ah, don't worry. Tebron's always been protected.
By what?
Well, we got the Imperial Hedge staff. It's in the center of town. It protects us.
Okay. And the shadows can't just fly in?
I don't think it's the head staff that protects us. I think it's the mortar that they put into the castle stone. That's what protects us, says some other drunk lady.
Oh, okay.
I think it's because our commander made a deal. Not the commander we have now, but the one from long ago. He made a deal. At the end of the Shadow War, it was a truce. People of Tebron didn't have to fear it anymore. As long as you stay safe at night and say the right prayers. Oh, hogwash. No one's gonna make me say those prayers, says the old lady.
Which prayers?
Oh, they want us to thank the shadows.
Oh?
What kind of... How do you thank the shadows?
You realize you're not talking to Imperials, you're talking to subjects or like
Yeah.
original peoples of the North.
Yeah.
Oh, you thank the shadows, dearie. You say the phrases. The shadow that cloaks you.
I'm not familiar with these phrases.
Well, you should.
Should I learn them?
Well, you're gonna stick around here, you should probably learn them.
We will be in the north for some time. Would you teach us?
Oh no, I'm not a priest.
Is there someone who could teach us?
I'm sure if you asked.
They're here having a drink. They don't want to play. They don't want to play priest to you. They're having a drink.
Don't make me dominate person. Don't make me do it.
The best thing you could probably do is just don't go out in the streets at night, dearie. Stay indoors.
You know, I would very much appreciate if someone, the old lady,
Yep.
could teach me this prayer, because I'm very concerned. And she does a still and silent charm person.
Okay. What's the DC?
The DC is... Oh, is it plus... She got a +6 or a +7, damn it.
You've got still and silent spell?
It's still and silent, yeah.
You're a boss.
Don't believe him anything about the hedge. The hedge isn't what protects us. It is the prayer. It is the solid stone buildings. You should be in solid stone buildings when the sun goes down.
Ah. Yeah, it would have been DC 19. Oh, sorry, DC 20.
The stones, they say. The stones of these buildings, the first stone of each of these buildings, was mined in a special place.
Ooh, where's that? I'm fascinated.
Oh, dearie, there's a world under our world.
The dwarves?
That has nothing to do with dwarves. It is the reflection realm, a place of darkness and shadow.
Oh, she's looking at Zyra down there with her? Or?
Sure.
She's looking at Zyra like, what the fuck?
I'm assuming Widget's at the bar smoking and drinking as well.
But she's referring to the Undercity.
Yes, the city under, between, around. The stones of every major building here, the first stone laid was the first stone. Was a stone that came from that place.
Interesting. Very interesting.
What do you know of Lyrudrada?
She looks at you.
Oh, a secret place. Old stories, nothing more.
Don't make me a post-charisma check you.
I think you're lying.
The prayers.
Ah, the cloak of shadow. And where shadow is, all is well. As the mother of shadows guards and protects me from all that is light.
Arlen would love that prayer, I think.
There are other versions.
I'd love to hear them.
Grant me protection, and in that shadow, the shadow of the spirit and all of creation. and in your travels, for safe travel, and keep you safe in the shadows. May the Shadow Mother guard over me.
The term Shadow Mother.
She's referring to Tricia Umbravilda.
They're worshipping her.
Oh, okay.
We don't say these out loud or very often, dear. You're best not to do this in front of any of the Imperials. They get their panties on a bunch.
Oh yes, they do tend to do that. Is there a priest around here that leads these prayers, or
Priest?
anything?
Oh no, the Imperials would never let a temple be here.
Oh, I know the Imperials wouldn't let, but this far north, I mean, sometimes the Imperials don't catch everything.
Yes. The priest is called the Divine Purger.
Oh,
He's an old one. I think he's an elf.
would not surprise me. Well,
Hey guys.
I'd very much like to meet this Divine Purger.
Oh, he's more of an enigma. He is not the sort that... I'm not sure how you would...
She seems nervous.
Oh, come now, between friends.
Knowledge local Tebron?
Sure.
Knowledge local Lyrudrada?
Sure.
Does the Divine Purger mean anything to me?
Yeah, I'm going.
Is he 11th level? Can I just, like,
I'm
knowledge
going.
him?
I am going to assist her with this role with my bardic. I know everything.
Got it. Zyra, go ahead. Do you auto assist?
I auto assist.
Okay.
Okay, we can do it this way around. 25 for Lyrudrada, 10 for Tebron.
Okay.
I ain't too smart.
Pergeron was the name of one of the Dusk Lords. He was the male elf cleric that was a cleric of the Seldarine that turned to the worship of Tricia Umbravilda. And he's the de facto head of a cult called the Cult of the Reborn. Yes, people of Tebron have always had kind of like the Shadow Plane is probably these people's folklore.
They don't talk about, like, the Asgardians. They talk about the Shadow folk.
Yeah. But you were concerned about the cult of the Reborn 10 years ago. This is a subtle shift that they're actively, like, you charm someone and they're telling you that about...
It's not a cult anymore. It's just something that everyone does.
Yeah.
Does the term reborn mean anything?
I've heard of it. I'm not sure what it means. It's probably something to do with the Mother of Shadows. There are people, you know. People that live beyond, but are close.
Do you know the name Persian?
It sounds like the Divine Purger.
Widget sort of snort some beer out of his nose.
Yep.
Dearie, those are things you don't want to get involved in, although I suppose maybe he will like you if you're an elf and you go before him. You know what the Divine Purger does, though? He purges all thoughts of the other gods from you. The Imperials don't like him very much.
How does he stay around?
Oh, it's not like he lives here. He just shows up every once in a while.
Hey, Ahmed, the people here, they worship the Mother of Shadows, and they're all like, shadows protect me, shadows give me milk and bread, and shadows are awesome, and in darkness I am protected.
Shadows are my cloak and protect me. How do you like that, Ahmed?
Got it. Place to burn. Cool. Hide in the shadows now.
That's what we thought.
Oh, Arlen won't like this town. Nope.
No, he won't.
Let's bring Arlen here. It'll be funny.
This lady seems to be a nice old lady. You learn that she's got, like, kids, and they've got kids. She's a grandmother. You ask her what she does. She's a weaver, but she's got a bad arthritis, and she earns a few coins teaching younger ladies how to weave. She doesn't own the loom that she like you learn. She's just
Way
talked.
too much.
Yeah,
Way
she's-
more than she really wants.
and there's nothing like insidious about the people that are here. They just go in. They know to come indoors, and if you're going to build a building, you build it properly with a stone from the other place, and you learn to say which words to say, and you don't really have to worry about the shadows. Like, we're safe here. You do learn that the travelers need to know, and that the ship boys all have their own ways of protecting themselves.
Oh. Maybe we should talk to them. They've got their own ways.
I'd be careful, dearie. At one time, I think we were at war with elves.
That was a long time ago.
You're gonna go into war again.
What? Why?
We're not at war with anyone, you creepy dwarf.
Oh. Sorry, I was speaking that as Arlen.
Oh, I heard that in Cade's voice, so that's
That was
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Kate's
no,
voice,
no.
or dirty, also known as Dirty Uncle voice.
Yep.
That's what it was. I'm like, but sorry. Go on.
No, it's fine. She tells you they're not at war with anyone.
How do you get stronger?
They have a hedge staff here. Do I know where it is?
It's the center of town.
It's
This
the
is-
center
this
of
is-
town.
Thing that's in the middle of the town that they turned into a monument.
Oh.
You
Why
go
don't we
look
check
at
out the
it.
hedge- Let's go take a look at it.
Yep.
Okay.
Let's have a look.
All right. You
We're gonna
guys,
go at night.
yeah, this is kind of like dusk. You guys go out into the streets. You're like, "Hey, shut the door!" You know, like, and there's some muttering that the strange people are doing that. Renee, are you going with them, or are you still up in the attic eating rats?
No, he's gonna go with them.
Okay.
Didn't they say that to stay indoors at night? Sorry. Didn't they say to stay indoors at night?
Yes.
Why are we stepping outside then?
Because we are brave adventurers, dwarf.
For fuck's sakes. You have those spells ready for casting? You know, the death ones.
Yes.
Good.
It's even more than you said, Marty. It's even harder.
I captured
I heard-
the
I heard
essence
you-
of Cade,
you
apparently.
captured him really well.
Yep.
Good job.
Good talk.
Does Grizak have any kids? I don't know. That's a long time. Has Grizak ever?
Does Grizak's thing work?
Dwarven dough.
Quicker I am, better it is. The Grizak. Funny. Okay, you guys sit out into the streets. You can see some people like hurrying indoors as the sun is going down. You walk to the square. There's nobody there. You do see the Imperial Church in Tebron. It is small compared to the one in other major cities in the Empire, but it's like the tallest building on a little bit of a hill overlooking the square, almost like its door is pointed at the hedge staff, like it's important to the Imperium. And there's this ring of like a low stone wall, like 2 feet high, that kind of goes around the hedge staff, which is just sticking up like somebody placed it beautifully as a monument. This hedge staff looks like a obelisk with all sorts of runes along the side of it. And it's at the center of Tebron. You can see that there are other statues in the corners of this square. It seems to be there might be other public buildings here, like maybe that's like the town hall, or the castle is a little bit further away from this, but it does have a road that leads down from the castle into the square.
Are there any Imperials?
Imperial Guard or police or...
So the
Fighters,
road that
guardian
leads up
priests.
the road that leads up to the castle from this square has an iron gate at it, and there are 2 guardhouses there. Like they don't allow the public to walk up to the castle proper, or they're closing it at this time. So you do see some guards. They've got the symbol of Tebron on their halberds.
Okay, and they're armed with...
The Imperial Guards, you could see some of them are armed with halberds, and some of them are armed with muskets. They are locking up the gate. You do notice that the doors of the church are slowly closing as well as it's dusk.
Does the church look like it's made out of an old stone?
Yeah, it's a big stone building.
Knowledge, architecture, engineering?
Yeah.
Is it built in the last, say, 300 years?
The church? 300 years?
Yes. Hang on. 28.
Yes. It was built probably 200 years ago. The stone relatively looks fresh and new. The coming of the Emperor was like 301 years ago, so we wouldn't have started building imperial churches for some
They
time.
also didn't steal somebody else's church and just
Yeah.
Oh, there are some of the stone that could have been from a different building. The upper parts of the stone and the roof are definitely new, but some of the base of the building could be
Foundation?
Could be somebody else's stone building.
What does this staff look like?
The hedge staff looks like an obelisk.
Okay.
30 feet tall, 4 sides with a kind of like a little pyramid, it gets more angular at the top, and it's got runes all along the sides of it. It looks perfect, like not a scratch on it.
Okay, so it looks similar to the one we examined in words not coming to Mark's brain.
The lake?
Yes.
The Crater Lake? Yep.
Yeah.
And despite its age, not a single hair mark on it. Looks like no signs of tampering. Looks absolutely pristine.
Okay.
How is there like a fence around it or anything like that? Or...
Yeah, it's sitting in the middle of a low well, like a 2-foot-high wall, circular around the thing, maybe 30 feet in diameter, and water has collected in the middle. It's like the spike, and then you've got like this little pool, and you do see that for whatever reason people throw coins into it.
It's a feature.
Yeah.
Renee's gonna like walk up to it and take a look up close.
Okay, so you get into the fountain. You could have sloshed along the water, and you go right up to it.
That is not traditionally how one... Oh, all right.
he wants to look to see if people have been refinishing this or if it's like if it hasn't been touched up.
Okay. Renee looks at it. No, it does not look like there's any marring to it. It does not look like it suffered any structural damage. It does not look like anyone has tampered with what you could reach and then what you could see.
Okay.
Okay. Renee will walk out of the
Let's see
water
if
feature.
let's see if the guards notice. Hey, you there! Get out of the fountain!
Renee will wave and walk out of the fountain.
Okay, give me a charisma check.
Hey boys, just in the fountain.
Oh, he's a cute dog. Begging. He's like, give me some of the good stuff. Okay, will you wave and like the guard came down. It looked like he didn't really want to come over and bother you, although he does notice like there's a group of you. Hey, sun's going down. Get indoors. Get indoors.
We'll wave again and we'll walk away.
Okay.
Are we heading to the wharf or are we heading back to where we're supposed to be?
Oh, let's head to
The guard goes to the guard gate. Looks like they're done like kind of locking up the gate, and they go into these little guard huts.
You know what? Let's go inside, and we'll go to the wharf in the morning.
Okay. Did we see any pets? Any
Cats, dogs.
cats, dogs, horses, donkeys.
Well, you saw donkeys earlier in the day.
Don't see any now, do I?
No. You see a couple of cats skittering, like kind of running.
Horrible shadow cats. Okay. All right. We'll head back to our attic.
Okay, so you guys head back. It's at dusk when you set out. Let's see. 1, you get back in time. 2 is just in time. 3. Okay, yeah, you guys get back before the sun completely sets, and you're back
Want
to
to go back out there because I want to see what happens when we're late.
No, you stay outside.
Yeah, you had to knock at the door a few times. Like, oh, come on in. Guy looking around in the street and closes the door, and they just kind of. It's almost like it's
So
second
do they
nature
show
to
up
them.
here when it's dark?
Apparently.
Well, do you like see them or do you hear them? Do they scratch at your door or something? What's going on?
It's just best if you stay indoors, that dwarf.
The turgor is a problem.
Okay, you're served more ales.
Just drink yourself into unconsciousness every night. It's one way to handle the. Well, we're pretty far north.
Yeah.
So there's some long ass winter nights where you go outside for like 4 hours a day.
Or not even.
I don't know how these people are surviving.
They have food.
They all probably have a vitamin D.
There seems to be a lot of fish in their diet.
How many? What's the population here?
It's a large town.
Zeta.
1,000 people or something?
Yeah, like I would say 5,000 people, 10,000 people maybe.
5,000.
That's
10,000?
pretty big.
That's a
town. It's far
big
north.
town.
Yep.
Zeta.
It is
Yes.
like the northern capital of the Protectorate of Tebronia. So
Do you have sufficient magics to attempt to pick up the Grizek?
Do you suggest a sending spell? You mean? I'm gonna go check because I don't remember. Seems like
Do you have sending?
Tebron to Citadel by the Lake is 55 hexes divided by 5 is 11. 11 times 60.
6,600.
I do not.
660 miles away. So
You just teleport.
2
there.
teleports.
If you
Yeah.
Find him, then teleport back.
Yes, I suppose. I'll
Okay.
do that.
You
Take take Mogovane with you?
This is still the first week, right?
Yep.
Or do you prefer Cade as protection? What am I, chopped liver? Yes, you are chopped liver.
Who is that guy?
I think I will. I think I will take Cade. As of late, Mergovane's temper's been a little touchy.
He's always got wood.
And then there's you and your speaking.
All right, so we're gonna do the teleportations. Don't mess it up.
Good talk.
Yep.
All right, teleport. Teleport back to Vedipol.
Vedipol. I mean Terrazline.
Terrazine, yes, sorry. Stupid D.
Where are you going? You're going all sorts of places. All sorts of places that aren't good.
Okay. You can't be here if you're gonna touch buttons. Oh my god.
You're very familiar with Terrazline, so you're able to return. You were able to return there, no problem. It's the
A
return
little closer
journey.
to a chair than I would have liked, but
It's the return journey where you're going to be off target. Okay, so you go to Terrazline. You ask where's the Grizzak. You find the little moat light thing, and then it disappears, and then it comes back, and it tells you that Grizzak's fighting. The Grizzak's just not available.
Just ask him when it'll be done. Hey, little thingy, your lantern. When's it gonna be done?
We serve the island.
then go ask the Arlen when the
When is it
Grizzak will
when's it
be
gonna
done.
be done?
Those are not our instructions. We serve the island.
Arlen said deliver messages to Arlen.
Then deliver this message to
Deliver
Arlen.
this message to Arlen. When is Grizzak available?
Okay, so they don't budge.
I could just disintegrate it right now and no one would know.
Put you out of existence.
They're pretty dumb. They're following instructions to the letter, and Grizzak's busy.
Alright, I guess we're going back.
Hang on. Let me just check something. It's the next day. We're teleporting to Vatapor.
Alright, I've never been there. Okay.
Okay,
Teleport to Vatapor.
with your 93.
What 93? I didn't roll a 90, did I?
Oh, I rolled. 'Cause
Oh.
you were taking forever to roll.
We're teleporting somewhere.
What the? Who taught me this fucking spell?
That
It's
spell.
kind of a shitty
My
place.
god told me about the Shadow Walk thing.
Can you give me a D8 and a percent? I'll roll the percentile. No, actually, never. I'll roll everything.
Roll it all.
Yep.
Where are we going? Someplace fun. Good thing you brought a bodyguard.
Welcome to Canterport, where you're immediately assaulted by doppelgangers.
Don't worry. Replacement Zeta is on the way.
Okay, so Vatapol is 65. So
Why does Zeta keep using staves now to teleport? Don't worry about that.
65.
It's the crappy doppelganger.
What level is Zeta?
12.
Okay, so she has no problem with the distance.
Oh. Oh.
Make a copy of young Elvis, you get old Elvis. There's complex calculus going on over in
Takes
Seattle.
me up.
Oh God.
Teleported to the island with the guy who's trying to.
Can I?
Can I? Okay.
Hey, I saw Gus earlier. Was that the one you were mentioning? The one was,
Gus is one of the people that is going through the episodes of
Going through the
Pounding through.
yeah,
pounding through the
catalog.
content.
yeah.
Well,
Him and Withersands are. Okay, so Zeta and Cade land in a raging storm at sea.
in sea, in the waters.
Yep.
For fuck's sakes.
Marty's nicer than I am. Because I've strictly enforced you appear on a solid surface, aka the bottom of the ocean.
Well, you did briefly appear on a surface. The surface were a bunch of rocks that were just barely above the surface when a wave overtakes you both. I need you guys to give me your CMDs.
Okay, Cade CMD is 44.
Yeah, and Zeta's just about that.
Okay, so Cade manages to plant down his feet under the ground. Zeta is just carried away by this wave.
Cade's the I'm a dwarf.
Zeta's like,
Try to grab her?
yeah, you could roll initiative.
CMD 22.
So the next wave will happen at 14.
Was that a bull rush or what was that?
16. I'm faster.
Because
Okay.
if that was a bull rush, Zeta went 20 feet.
Yep. So the waves happen at 14, and then Zeta,
I'm faster.
what's your initiative?
Oh, I got a 21.
Okay, so you actually saw the wave coming. You're like, what the fuck? And you're on these little tiny, barnacle-covered sea rocks that are only visible when the waves are kind of down, or at
Just
certain
before the
times of
big ass
the tide.
wave hits
Yeah,
is when it's visible.
Yep.
She is going to try to cast Fly, I guess,
Okay.
on herself. I guess that's going to be a concentration check due to the literal shitstorm we're in. You do? Just double checking something here, sorry. I don't want to cheat.
But I have to.
No, I have it. Okay. Plus 20. What's the DC? 15 plus double spell level?
For what?
For a concentration check to cast while in this storm?
No, there's nothing quite yet. You arrived just in this brief moment where the waves had been down
okay.
and revealed these tiny rocks, and both you and Cade plop down on them, and there's this big wave coming, and there's
She cast-
lightning in the sky, and
She casts a regular fly on herself and
okay, and then
in the water.
okay, give me a fly check as you're flying up. The winds are bad.
Okay. Check my fly skill.
I believe the fly spell gives you 4 plus half your cast level.
So another 10. So plus 27.
I'll confirm that.
I got a 32 if Adam's...
Okay, so you rise up. You're able to avoid the wave that comes crashing in. I think Cade gets to act. What are you doing?
She's flying out of the area.
She's flying up into a windstorm. Yes, into the middle of the storm.
What I said is correct, Mark.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna brace myself.
Okay, the wave comes crashing over, and the swell goes down again, and
Actually, move
Cade's still
action,
standing.
I'm gonna get three feet. Grabbing just in case I slip or some shit.
You know I'm going to cast fly on you, right?
You a swim speed equal to
Bra-
move speed.
Brawler has turned fighters into.
And I can charge
You need
twice.
the same willingness to study as you do if you're a wizard. Where there's you got all these obscure feats you could use if you know them.
I listed
All right. So what is piranha or barracuda stance give you?
So basically, you get move speed, swim speed equal to your move speed.
Swim speed equal
And
to
you
your
can
move speed.
Fight. Yeah, basically it's like
Okay. So you.
It's underwater kung fu.
basically
Okay. So basically, he's got his hands like little